Cody had been counting the hours. All day he bounced on his heels, barely able to sit still. He was finally going to meet his baby sister. He had practiced what he would say. He had imagined holding her tiny hand. When his father finally opened the hospital room door, Cody didn't wait. He rushed inside, and then he stopped. His smile faded. The room was quiet. Machines hummed softly. His mother rested in bed. The crib stood near the window. But something felt wrong. Cody stepped closer. His eyes narrowed. Then he pointed, "Dad! Dad! Come quickly!" Mark crossed the room in 2 strides. He followed his son's trembling finger and saw it. A small red light, blinking, steady, silent, unnatural, on his newborn daughter's collar. For a moment, Mark didn't breathe. He pulled back the blanket carefully and lifted the object resting against her tiny neck. It wasn't hospital equipment. It wasn't a medical monitor. It was a palm-sized transmitter, blinking. His blood ran cold. Cody's hand tightened around his father's sleeve. "What is that?" the boy whispered. Mark didn't answer, because he didn't know, and that terrified him. He scanned the room, the door, the hallway beyond it. His mind raced through possibilities. How long had it been there? Who had touched his child? Without another word, he scooped up the device and strode into the hallway, Cody hurrying behind him. The nurse at the station looked up, confused by the urgency in his face. "No staff entered that room," she insisted after checking the logs. "Not for hours." "Then explain this," Mark said, placing the blinking device on the counter. The nurse's expression changed. Security was called. Footage was pulled. They rewound 30 minutes. The room had been empty. Then the door opened. A woman in a doctor's coat stepped inside. She moved slowly, carefully, not like someone in a rush. She leaned over the crib. Her hands worked quickly at the baby's collar. Then, as if she sensed something, she froze and turned her head directly toward the camera. The footage paused on her face. No hospital badge, no identification, and eyes that held no hesitation. "She doesn't work here," the nurse whispered. Mark felt something primal ignite inside him. He grabbed Cody's hand. "We're not waiting." They ran, down the hallway, past sterile walls and flickering lights. Mark burst into the nursery, empty crib. His heart slammed against his ribs. "She's gone!" Cody cried. The world narrowed into pure instinct. Mark ran again, faster, every shadow now a threat. Then he reached his wife's recovery room and froze. There she was. His daughter, safe in her mother's arms, sleeping peacefully. Relief crashed over him, but only for a second, because across the hallway, through the glass of another ward, he saw her, the same woman, moving between cribs. Mark's jaw tightened. "Stay here," he whispered, and stepped into the hallway. "Stop right there." Mark's voice thundered down the corridor. The woman froze for half a second. Then she ran. Hospital carts crashed aside. Nurses shouted. Cody's small gasp echoed behind him as Mark launched forward, fueled by something deeper than anger instinct. She darted through emergency doors and burst into the parking lot. Rain had begun to fall. She reached a dark sedan, fumbling with her keys. Too late. Mark slammed the door open before she could start the engine. He yanked her out and pinned her against the hood. "Who are you? What did you put on my daughter?" Security swarmed in seconds. Police followed minutes later. Handcuffs clicked. Mark handed over the blinking device. An officer examined it, face tightening. "This isn't just a tracker," he said quietly. "It's surveillance tech. GPS, signal override, silent entry alerts." Mark's stomach dropped. "She was marking your house." The pieces snapped into place. New parents, predictable routines, vulnerable homes. That night, police set a trap. They placed the transmitter inside Mark's house. Cameras hidden, officers waiting. At 2:17 a.m., 2 hooded figures approached. They slipped inside. They never made it back out. Lights exploded on. Police rushed in. One suspect bolted. Mark intercepted him before he reached the street, slamming him to the pavement with pure protective fury. By sunrise, the entire ring was in custody. And it had all started with a small blinking light and a little boy who refused to ignore it.